Hey, everybody, welcome to the webinar. I'll be starting in just a moment. I don't know how good I'm going to be today. I'm absolutely sick. I was long this massive position of Upstart. It just announced in the aftermarket, and I'm absolutely sick. I'll share with that in a moment. So I've got about 112 people so far. Welcome. I'll get started. Just give this a minute. I am absolutely apoplectic. All right, I'm just going to share my screen. So welcome to the webinar. My name again is Mark Shawson, the Pattern Trader. Welcome to this second day of the 3-day earnings trade execution webinar series. So yesterday we talked about pending moves. Today I said Upstart was really on my list. I had 14,000 shares in this stock and it's up $23. So I don't even want to do the calculation. That's a $260,000 move. Dick, if you're still in Upstart, it's up $23 in the aftermarket. Now, I also bought this stock, SFT. It's up about 90 cents. I've got about 10,000 shares. So usually when the earnings announce, I just take whatever they give me. This actually opened $2 higher and it's been drifting lower ever since. So I'm keeping one eye on that and looking to get out of that if it just keeps drifting here. So I am absolutely sick. So here are kind of the positions that I had going into today. SFT, I bought it at 933. It's trading at about 1020, up about $1 in the aftermarket. And then I shorted WIX at about 261.5, and this announces before the open tomorrow. So right now I've got about $4 grand profit in there, and I'm also long these QQQ puts, which is a bet on the Nasdaq going down. So I saw the Nasdaq going down, everything going down today. Every day Upstart has gone higher, and then it's gone back. I have made so much money in this stock, and then only to watch it come back in my face. I've had about 10 different times where I've had $5, $7 in this stock, only to see it come back. And you can see that, I always say, keep an eye on the big pattern. Don't get misled by, these things. And I, just went into a very risk, conservation mode. I was long this stock today that I bought in earnings a couple days ago. I bought a ton of them, and you can see how this came off. So it just set my whole mind, on fire. I saw the Nasdaq, saw everything setting back. So I just got out of Upstart. I should have left some on, and now it's up $23. I mean, I've been telling everyone this thing's going to $200. It had a really great basing thing, and I'm not there for the party. I'm absolutely sick about it. Certain times I just take little plays, like I bought 10,000 shares of this. I'm going to make about $9 grand here. So sometimes I just play here and there, but I took a huge position in Upstart. In fact, I'll share with you just in this one account. I got out of this. I'm just absolutely sick. So I sold, just before the close, and I thought I was smart. I got out 137.5 and it closed at about 135.5. So I sold 6,500 shares. Multiplied by $23 now, and I had the same position in another account. So I'm absolutely sick. I could have made 260 grand in about 5 minutes, and this is really what I'm talking about, where you can make out. So Dick says I got out of Upstart 156.60. So good on you, Dick. I would have maybe even kept a little back. This thing's going to go higher. Is put on such a big basing, and yeah, I think when it opens this high, you can sell in a little bit into that opening. So Dick, you did better than me. I should have kept some. It says 0. I wish it said 0. No, it says 6,500 filled. Zero is the part that, so Phil says, why did you close it? Just pure emotion. I saw everything come back on me today. So you can see I got an oxygen. I got an oxygen right here at about $7.60. And then I peeled out of everything today at about 878. So it actually went to about 935. And I wanted to take some off. That was the smart move. Once it crossed $9, I had 73,000. My whole plan was to get rid of 23,000, hold 50,000, you know, and I didn't. So it started coming back. So I pocketed 33,000 on this position here and 55. So I made about 88 grand in total on that play. So on OCGN, and then it closed much lower, closed around 850. I got out 878, but it went to over $9 today. So I saw all this stuff coming back. I think the NASDAQ's going to go lower. I've actually bought some put options on the NASDAQ. I think a whole bunch of stocks like Zoom and what have you. So this thing just keeps on drifting lower. I have $2 on the opening, you know, so I'm just losing opportunity. I'm not losing money. I'm just losing opportunity. So I'm just going to take 7 grand out on this thing and be done with it. I bought 10,000 shares at, so I'm just going to, let me just see, did I get out? They got filled on, yeah, you see now it went down. So I just got filled on, wow, and I was making $2 on this. I was making like 20 grand just from 10 minutes ago. So you can see this is the gyrations of the earnings. So I just got out of 8,500 shares. I bought these at 933. So I made about 7 grand on this kind of overnight bet. Wow, and it's just crashing now. So I've got 1,500 still left over. And now it's, let's see if I can still get filled. So I bought them at 933 and I got out of some at 10. I'm going to see if I can get out the rest at 10 and make 7 grand on this bet. And then overnight, I'm also short WIX. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm absolutely sick. This is up $23. So this was, you know, what I talked about yesterday. See if it's on my hit list here. Should be, but it's not. So this is what I talk about, where I look at the underlying foundation to kind of take advantage of moves in the aftermarket when companies announce their earnings. And notwithstanding, I didn't even know, you know, yesterday when I was talking about Upstart that they were going to announce today, because I've been long this stock for a long time, taking a shot. You know, to me, you had a beautiful double bottom here. You basically closed yesterday right above this neckline. So you kind of confirmed this breakout. And then you know, with these earnings, very often the day of the earnings, you'll get a head fake where it'll go in the opposite direction. You see it made a new high, close on the low, it gives you a head fake, and then, you know, it goes where. So I always say you've got to keep your eye on the, you know, what I call a governing pattern. So this double bottom, you also had like an inverted head and shoulders here. This was just a giant basing. This was, and I was saying to our members that this is, you know, and if you're on my elite list, you're still long this, and you're going to take advantage of this overnight play. So to me, this is going to go and probably make new highs. And so right now we're trading around right there, 156 or so. So this thing opened and we're going to trade right there. I'm just, you know, heartbroken because I've taken so many attempts at this thing, and every time you can see it made a new high at 140, came back, you know, so I'm kind of used to, came to 140, came back. So I'm used to this pattern now where every time I'm buying this thing, it's coming back. Says it's too late to add. No, it's not, but you have to pay up. You know, you have to pay way more. So it closed in the regular market at 135.68. And you can see right now it's trading 155.90 by 155.95. So it's up $23. But this is what I'm talking about. This is the power of, if you understand the formations, and I basically predicted this was going to go up yesterday. I was in there. I had 14,000 shares long, and I don't know why I dumped all of them. I should have kept some of them. I just got into a pattern today where I just wanted to, clean everything else, clean house. I was in a very risk averse, kind of frame of mind. I saw all of these stocks, come off like Beyond Meat and Zoom. And I just thought, well, things are going to start coming off now, and I don't want to be caught with all these shares. And so I also talked about ONTF yesterday, closed at $32. It's down $5 right now. So, like a 20% move in the aftermarket. So this is, what I'm talking about. If you can spot these moves, you can make just enormous amounts of money. So if you weren't here yesterday, I just go through very quickly. This is kind of what it looks like, where you see a move a couple of weeks ago. I was looking at SFIX. I shorted at 68.75, and got out at 53. $15 later, in about 9 minutes, I made $74,000. Here's the broker records reconciliation, 2 accounts in SFIX. Then I shorted Spotify at 237. 2 minutes before the close, and then right on the opening bell, I bought it back at 221 and made $16 in less than 2 minutes in the market, and made I don't know, about $80,000 in that. 39 and 32, whatever, 73,000. VIRT, I pocketed about $9,000 in an overnight trade. And OCGN, I bought this the other day at around 760. I blew out today at about 878 and made about $80,000. So this is what I look to do. And so it looks like I might get out of the balance of my shares. It's trading right around, let's see if they gave it to me. Yeah, I'm filled. So now I got in at 933, and I might, regret getting out. But, usually when earnings are announced, I don't mess around. So I got in at 933. I got out at 10. So you can see all filled. So somebody said, what was it? Says 0. So that's open and that's filled. So they filled me at an average price of 10.01. So I made whatever it is. 933 is what? 78 cents on 10,000 shares. So about $7,800 in about 2 minutes. I shorted it I bought it before the close, and just bought it back now. So that's how quick it happens. You get a result one way or another. And sometimes, something can open lower and then go higher, or open higher and then go lower. In this case, this opened about $11.50, and it's just been falling ever since it opened. And so I probably will regret getting out now. It looks like it's going back higher. So anyhow, I made $8,000, and, now I'll look for the next play. And so this is what I do, every single day. I kind of showed you my process where are these earnings links? Here are the earnings calls. If you didn't get it, there's 2 different sources that I look at. I'll put the links in the chat box here. And let me see these are the plays from, and they're pretty redundant, although you could say that there's some names that you might not find on one list than the other. Deborah says, could you explain reasoning not to get into options for short-term trades? Are they much harder to get filled at buying? So options, I do options quite a bit. Some option series are very expensive. And it's really a calculation of how much a market's going to move, how much you have to pay for it. So I do options on these plays very often. I lost 17 grand overnight buying options on CVS last week. I lost 90% of my money on the opening. So that's the fun of options. With the stock, at least you still have the stock. You can see if it goes higher or lower, you can still hold it. So I do options though. So this is Tuesday. So since we meet after, the earnings are announced or after the close, I look a day ahead for the earnings plays. So tomorrow we have NEO, which I do like on the short side. So let me just kind of go through the list of, so then basically I just see what earnings are coming out and then look at the chart. And just like Upstart, I don't know what the earnings are going to be, but like this chart looks really bad, NEO. So I can only imagine that the earnings, so you can see you have this key reversal here. And just blow this up a little bit. I don't understand why sometimes I can minimize. Let me just open a chart here and get it. All right, so NEO. Yeah, you can already see just that's a 1 minute chart. It really looks bearish. So tomorrow NEO will announce. And so if you're in a bearish, so you can see here's the triple top price pattern that I'm looking at. Here's a huge reversal. And then today, so I call these key reversals. Let me just kind of blow this up and kind of explain my process here. And not all key reversals are created equal. When I say key reversal, you can say this made a new high, close on the low, made a new high, close on the low, made a new high. But you have to look at the pattern and the trend. So, I do look at reversals, but some of them can be head fakes. Not all reversals are created equal. And so when I talk about a reversal, some are guiding and some are head fakes. And in this case, it was a head fake. So this is NEO. And so this to me is what would be the governing price pattern, this triple top. So with the word top in it, it basically says that this market has topped and will likely go down over time. And you can see here was a huge key reversal. And this is what I mean by key reversal, where the market made a new high and then close on the low. And very often those guys point in the direction the market wants to go. And you can see today, we had another key reversal that's pointing in the way it wants to go. So tomorrow, I actually hope, NEO goes higher, that I can kind of sell into a higher opening. And then I will look for that market to come this way. So I think that very unlikely you're going to get above there. And I would sell short tomorrow before the close, because NEO will announce earnings after the close tomorrow. So that's something that, I would look to short based on, just the price patterns that precede it. What else is coming out? So you've got CPNG. So you've got a whole bunch coming out tomorrow. CPNG, which is a Chinese company. And that looks like it wants to go lower. So I'm going to write all of these down so I don't have to do this work again. So NEO, CPNG, short is eBay tomorrow. So it's a very fertile. So when something's just like indescript or, I have any kind of question at all, I just move on. I want to see something that just jumps out at me right away, like Upstart. ASPN is a very bullish stock, or was. Doesn't look so bullish right now. I would expect that actually to go higher, but whatever. If I have any ambiguity, I just move on. I just look for something that is going to just stand out as a naked, opportunity, where there's just no ambiguity at all. Bumble, which is a dating service, BMBL. Wow, so that looks like it wants to go down too. So what I look at is a combination of things. So let me just put this on these charts. It looks a little bit better. I can't believe I'm just heartbroken. I just missed out on a 260,000. And the thing is, I wanted to keep that. If I, I would have just kept that position. So, I was looking to make $1 million on that trade. I really was. So what I look at a chart is that, first off, I open up a chart and say, well, what is this thing doing? Is it, up, down, or sideways? And clearly, this is a new IPO, but ever since it IPO'd, it went straight down from 85. It's almost in half. And then, so this is a down pattern. So basically, you want to get in sync with the market. So this is a down market. You want to get in sync. And so I look at the near-term patterns, and you've kind of got this funky double top here. You got a double top here. This whole thing really makes a asymmetrical double top, where you don't have to have the tops in the two areas. This is lower, but this top is lower than that, but it doesn't matter. When you look back, it still looks like an M. And you're basically ready to cut under, this price level. And now there's just, nothing underneath here. So, and then you also have, so I look for a combination of direction, pattern, and price action. And here's the price action. We had a key reversal, made a new high, close on the low. And so, what I look for and what I hope for is that the next day actually opens higher, that I can use that energy to sell into it. It's kind of like a rubber band where you pull back and then it lets go. So BMBL. So tomorrow looks really fertile. I mean, all of these look like, candidates that, are going to be pretty fertile after the market close. DRM. That actually looks like it wants to go down too. So I like to take a look at things on the long term. So that does look like it's going to go, but I don't know if it's going to go tomorrow. Yeah, so this is a bit of a head fake. This thing looks like it, wants you to think it's going up, but the main thrust of it's going lower. But it's just too much to junk to clear through. So I'm just going to leave that alone, although I wouldn't be surprised to see that go lower. Sonos. This actually looks like it could go higher. There's a nice little, so this looks like Upstart. Let me look at this here, SONO. So now it becomes a little tricky to determine, okay, what is the governing price pattern? What is actually going on here? Because you kind of look at this and it looks like, a head and shoulders or a triple top and suggests the market going lower. So you can see that the market has just been hugging this ascending trend line and it's bounced off there and right. So this looks just like Upstart. So you have this bottom here, you have this inverted head and shoulders. And then I say to myself, is it more likely that prices go this way or is there more open field for it to run? And it looks like this thing, is going to go higher. So I would actually buy this tomorrow in anticipation of a higher movement out of this thing. You may not get an explosive move. I don't know if that's going to give you a lot of bang for the buck. So I'll just jot that down. Sono on the long side. Let me see what else looks like a ENS. Joy, which is a Chinese company. These things have been getting whacked. This thing's been straight down. Yeah. STEM I was looking at a while ago as long this stock. It kind of broke down. I'll leave that alone. So this is what this $9 company looked like when I bought it today. I bought it, what was it, SFT. It's kind of the same look. So I bought this company today. It broke out at 933. It had this double bottom. This is the company I bought at 933 and I just blew out at $10. So you can see it broke out. I just took advantage of the momentum and, now I'm on to, and you can see it's now actually going a little bit better. But, I just look for, certain plays. If, market gives me $8 grand, I'll take it. I'm just sick about it. I lost 240,000. So what can you do? That one hurts, I got to tell you, because I was really looking at that as a long-term play. DUOL. But all you can do is just keep focused on the future, right? You can't, trading, it's all about the woulda, shoulda, couldas. There's always going to be a million of those. So this thing looks like it wants to go higher. AVT is a double bottom here, a key reversal. And so the path of least resistance seems like it wants to go higher. AVT, Avnet, Clover, CLOB. I'd leave that alone. GOCO. That's just going to go lower. So I usually go to the second page. And then after that, it just gets to be very low liquidity type things. That's going lower. Leave that alone. It looks like it's going lower. BLNK, this should be interesting. This was a high powered thing. Maybe it looks like it's motoring around again and could have another thrust. I'd leave that alone. That looks like it's going to go lower. STTK, just kind of running out of steam, a little volatility, but you can see the double top here. The whole trend is lower, sitting on the lows. And so I just look at the price action. You don't have to know anything about the company. Obviously, nobody knows what the earnings are going to be. And it doesn't matter, even if you knew the earnings, the reaction to earnings is always, sometimes a market can disappoint and the stock can still go up, or the stock can do well and it'll sell off. So the interpretation is it can do anything. So Baidu is going to announce, I'd leave that alone. Palantir is going to announce Thursday morning. So these are for the following morning. And since, I'll only, well, I guess I could look at these tomorrow night with you. Palantir, GoodRx. Let me just see what. So those are the plays for tomorrow that I would look for. I would, then once I kind of have my list, I kind of, go and look at it again, just see how, I liked it the first time around. Let's, just see how I like it now. And again, I would hope that NIO opens higher and I would start selling into that. And to somebody who asked me about options, I would even look at options. And then I just basically, so NIO's $44.25. So let me just see what these options look like. So the 44 puts, very expensive, $1.40. So this thing has to go to 42.60 for you to break even. They expire on Friday. So you basically would have 3 trading days. Let me just see what this, sometimes you can tell by the chart. So you can see that maybe it's, so what I would do is hope that NIO opens higher. These options will go lower, and then I can buy these options somewhere around $1. If I could do that, I probably would. So this is kind of how I use options. So if you want to go a little further out of the money, the 42s are 70 cents. So your break even is 41.30. And then you got to say, can I see this thing going down $3, this week? And then the thing is, when I look at an option, I say, I want to make 3 to 5 times. So it's that person asked about options. So in order for me to make 3 times, this thing would have to go to $2, which means that NIO would have to go to like $39.70 by the end of the week. So now I have to say, can I see this thing falling from here all the way, down there by the end of the week? Probably not. It's got to get through all of this trash and what have you. And so that's why I would do a stock over an option. I have to see my way clear to making 3 to 5 times my money. If I can't see that pathway, it doesn't warrant it, because you could lose all of your money very quickly. So you have to have the plays that work pay for the things that don't work, if that makes sense to you. Let's move through this list. So CPNG is the other one, $36. Let's see what these options look like. Now, this one is a little bit more interesting because it doesn't have, see, there's almost no resistance. Once this thing falls through this 36, there's almost no resistance till this here. So this thing can go into a bit of a free fall. So let's see what they're asking. So $36.70. Let's see. First off, if there's any liquidity. Yes, there's plenty of liquidity here. So $37. So then you'd look at like about the 37.5, which is in the money. So you could go in the money a little bit. 35 is out of the money. And so it's $2. So your break even is $33. So this is why it's expensive. This is why I do the stock over the options, because now do I say to myself, okay, in order to make 3 times this has got to go to 6. And so that means that this has got to go to 29 bucks by Friday. Can I see this thing at 29 bucks? Probably not. So this is why I would, do the stock. These are relatively cheap stocks, so you could sell short these things, and it's pretty much like an option. And it's just too expensive. These things are too expensive. Now you could do the in the money. So let's see, this thing is in the money by 80 cents. So you have 80 cents of value. So you're paying 80 cents, you're paying $2.70 of premium. So this thing's got to go to about 35 bucks. It's still not, it's not worth it. That's why you want to just sell short the stock. And then the other one was Bumble, BMBL. Sure, the options are pretty expensive in this too. So BMBL, a lot of liquidity in these options too, 47. So the 45s are also $2. So very expensive. And you've only got, 3 days to go. So, wait a minute. No, wait a minute. This is August 20. What is today's date? I don't even know what day it is half the time. It's the 10th. So you've got 10 days in these options. So now what I would do is, because I've got 10 days a little further out, I might go and look at the, more out of the money. So you can see there's a lot of liquidity here. So these are 60 cents, which means they're times 100 shares. Each put is based on 100 shares. So that's $60 per put. So let me just check out this. So this may be interesting. Sometimes you can't tell a whole lot, and sometimes you can. Let me just see if this has got a little more history here. So it looks like it's kind of grabbing a bottom here. So yeah, I would look to buy these tomorrow. So yeah, it's kind of just bouncing off this bottom. So this is the $40 call. So this has got to go to $39.40 for you to break even in 10 days. So you got to say to yourself, can you see this stock going down $7 in 10 days, and then giving you enough where you're going to make money? But very often, if you, like for instance, what I'll do tomorrow, hopefully the stock will, even if it opens up 50 cents or $1, I'll buy those 60 cent put options, maybe get them for 55 or 50 cents, And then if it, goes from being up $1 to down $2, and then it goes down $5, and, you get a bump, in premium. And so, I wouldn't even be looking to hold till expiration. I'd be just looking to take advantage of, some explosion after the earnings play tomorrow. So I would be inclined to, I'm going to put this down, by the $40 put options in BMBL tomorrow. So hopefully I'm looking for a higher opening where it opens, 50 cents to $1 higher. And then you sell into that by buying puts, you're actually selling. And, then if it comes back, and then if it goes down after earnings, you can make some money that way. So that's what I often do, is instead of paying $2, I'll look for these sneaky 50, 60 cent things, try and get them for even less, and look for them to go from 50 cents to, $1 or $1.50 or $2. So those are my plays. And then on the upside, we looked at Sono. I would probably, look at buying that. I don't know how big a play or a jump you're going to get out of earnings, but this looks like a solid kind of thing where it's, kind of grabbed a foothold on this long-term uptrend line, and looks like the path of least resistance is higher. This just looks like Upstart. I don't even want to say that name right now. I'm just sick about it. AVT. I think I've been trading so much. I've just been putting myself under pressure. And, it just, every time Upstart went forward. And then today, the same thing happened. I came in long 14,000 shares. It was up $5 at 140, came all the way back to 135. And I go, whatever. Then it started going right back to 140. And I go, okay, fine, this is it. And then it fell all the way back again. So that's what it does. The market, it deceives you. It gets you out before the real move happens. And I always say, you got to look at the big picture. Don't get deceived by that price action. And I wasn't deceived. I just didn't want the pressure. So this is AVT, and I like this look on the upside. This is an uptrending market. And right here you have this double bottom. It's kind of an inverted head and shoulders with a upsloping neckline. So whenever you have an upsloping neckline, it implies that not only is it bullish, but it's going to go up pretty quickly. So, and then also you have these two key reversals here. Made a new low, close on the high. So those are like what I call insurance day bars. That tells me where the risk is. And so I would take a poke at buying this thing tomorrow. I like this a lot. I will be long that into earnings the next day. So that is kind of my my spiel for the day. So let me see what questions came in. Out of earnings season, where do you look? So Pedro, I put 2 links in this where you look for all the names that are going to announce the next day. So I put the links in the chat box. Where did I put this thing? So this is what it looks like. These are all the names. This is, you can go and look at, future dates, and so I just go down here and just research all of these names, go and look at the price patterns and see if there's a pattern that suggests where the next move's going to be. So I'd be shorting Disney into earnings. When is this? Thursday night. Sorry about that. Jerry says, would you be better having the option out a month or 2 for the option expiry to get the movement? Yeah, the more time you go out, Jerry, the more expensive it gets. So yeah, you can go more and more out, but obviously with an earnings play, you're going to get a move the next day. So you're going to get a bump one way or another on those options. And this is where you can lose all of your money right away. Oh, hey, Layla. I love that. That's that Eric Clapton song, man. One of my favorite songs, favorite names. So that would figure Mustafa, that your daughter's name, Layla. One of my favorite names. What is AVT's real name? I don't, Abnet or something. I don't even care. Diane says, I currently have 10 shares NEO. I got at 42. Should I keep it until tomorrow? So I would assume you're short. If you're short, yeah, I would. Now, obviously, very risky. You can see that things move big, and when they move for you, so you can see Upstart is up $23. So if you were short this, you would be out 23 bucks. So that's why you have to be, careful. I am absolutely heartbroken over this. I've had so many good trades this year, and somehow I don't care about those. I'm just heartbroken about this. I've tried 4 or 5 times, and I've gotten big positions on in 2 accounts ready for a big move. And this thing just gyrated me out so many times. Anyhow, that is a heartbreaker. But you got to just move on. I made 80 grand in this stock right here. I just made 8 grand today in this stock, and we'll see where Wix opens. I'm short WIX going into tomorrow. It'll announce earnings before the opening tomorrow, so we'll see how that works out. And that's about it. I'm short Moderna right now, so I made a lot of money there. Yeah, Phil, I feel like crying. Yeah, Praveen, it's, look, I don't, to me, losses and profits, they're like 2 imposters of the same kind. And I think that's why I become really effective in trading. I don't really look at either one. I say, is this trade working? Leave it on, it works. I made 88 grand in Oxygen. It doesn't work. I dump out of, whatever I just dump them out. I get rid of them. I purge them and I move on. And I don't even look how much I make when I make. I don't even look how much I lose when I lose. I just look at the trade. Is it working? Should I stay in? And, I should have stayed in Upstart. I had no reason to get out. The thing is, I had such a big position, and that's the problem when you get a position. And so the smart thing would have been just to peel some off, if I was uncomfortable, but whatever. So Michael says, did you? Yeah, I shorted Moderna today. Let's see, where is my, I'll show you. Here's my position in Moderna. Probably made about $60,000. So I have, I'm short 3,000 shares. I put $1.4 million in the pot, and it's down 27 bucks. So yeah, I think that run is over. And it's down $5 in the aftermarket session. So it was down 27 bucks today. It's down $5 more in the aftermarket. So I have to console myself with that. Moderna is still short. So I think Moderna's, I don't know what the target is, but I think it's topped. So these are about earnings plays. So, let's try and confine questions to any questions you have about tomorrow's trades, about how to play, earnings calls. So this is really what I do. I make a fortune. And look at Upstart. This thing is it's up $25 now. It just keeps on going higher. I am sick. I had 14,000 shares times 25, 350 grand in about a half hour. That is going to haunt me. Let's see. Today I traded OSH, did not there. Is OSH, are these earnings plays? So I don't want to just look at I'm just not going to look at independent charts now. I just want to look at earnings plays. These sessions are about how to play earnings. So I don't want to just take, requests to look at charts unless it's going to be an earnings play one way or another. So this probably was an earnings play that came out today. Is that correct? And it looks down, it went from 63 down to 51, down $12. Earnings was this morning. So yeah, I mean, so this is, could have shorted this morning, but that was then. And, so now it's too late. What I want to do is talk about earnings that are coming up. Let me just kind of look and see what this looked like in the big picture. I hate when I miss things so this was hard to tell. This had just all of this resistance up here. Very hard to tell that, this thing was going to turn. That looks pretty arbitrary. I wouldn't have shorted that. You look at these things, you kind of say, I wish I had that type of thing, but I wouldn't have had it. Yeah, it closed into resistance, but yeah. Praveen says I was buying it. Yeah. Well, that's the problem, so this is how you can see you can get hurt on these earnings plays. But that's why I don't buy something unless I feel like I've got a key reversal behind me. I've got a lot of stuff behind me. So I don't just arbitrarily buy into, just because something's making a new high. Oh, you bought it today at 52? Well, I guess, I'll do that too. If something goes to an extreme on an earnings, I bought Uber the other day and made $5 after the announcement. So this is going to 161. I'm just freaking mortified. And to me, it's not really, yes, it's about the money. It's the validation, right? So for trading, it's if you see something and the market does what you see, that's really what I get out of it. The dollars and cents, in my life's not going to change whether I made, 350 grand today or I didn't, which sounds pretty arrogant, but it's not about the dollars and cents to me. It's really validation. I love trading. I don't need to keep trading for dollars and cents. So if it was just about that, I wouldn't be doing it. I love it's like being a detective, like seeing something, getting in something early. I was telling our members about Upstart, all the way back here, when it was making a double bottom, this sneaky little bottom right here. So it made a little double bottom here, and I was buying it in here. And you could see every time it had a thrust, I remember I bought it right here. I thought there was a double bottom right here. And then, you can see that it went up, came down. Then I saw this key reversal, started buying it. I had $12 on that day, literally 15 minutes before the close, it came back down. And so this is what's been happening. You can see this has just been a long basing. But what I've been saying to our members is that kind of the bigger the base, the more into space. And that's exactly what's been happening here, is that Upstart has just been basing. It's just been putting on this huge rounding bottom. And so it's going to just go stratospheric. And that's what it's doing now. So this whole thing was, a double bottom, an inverted head and shoulders. It closed really through the neckline yesterday. So the confirmation is really yesterday right there. It closed right there. And, it's like I've been programmed like pound New Zealand. I've been long pound New Zealand, and it keeps breaking out and then coming back down. And kind of, I thought this may do the same thing. So you get it, the market gets you in certain patterns, and I'm just, but what I love seeing is these little things where I just see these little things that, I get in very early. So I didn't lose money. I've made a lot of money on Upstart in the last couple of weeks, but nothing compared to the money that keeps on, pulling back every time it, it goes higher, it pulls back. And then but independently of earnings, I felt like this thing was going to go and make new highs, and I wanted to have a big position. There's like 2 or 3 times a year where I look at, can this be $1 million play? And then I position myself for that $1 million play. And I, in my mind, I position myself several times because I thought this would be $1 million play, that this thing would go up $100 from here. And it's now up almost 30 bucks in the aftermarket. What is TD? What do you do if like Uber after earnings is a key reversal? So I actually bought into that low opening into Uber, and I look at a key reversal like I would look at anything else. So Uber does feel like there was an exhaustion to the downside, but not all key reversals are created equal. So this is still in a downtrend, and you know, just because it reversed doesn't mean, you know, anything. I have to see a pattern. I have to see something where a low has been established. And this thing just feels like it just wants to roll back lower again. This thing's a whole downtrend. So you know, this is kind of the bigger pattern to me in Uber, you know, where you kind of have this rolling, rounding top. If you look within here, there's a double top and a head and shoulders. And so this looks like it's just going back in the direction. Now, what I did was, you can see that Uber was going straight down, didn't really have an up thing. And then in the earnings, it went down to $38. And I thought, you know, it's overblown. So I bought this thing at $38.25. You didn't even see that as a low the next day. And then I got out right there. I made $5. So I actually bought Uber in the aftermarket, just taking advantage of what I thought was kind of an overcooked to the downside condition. It was just an instinct thing. There was nothing really to support that. And, you know, I scooped out $5 on that. So that's about it. So yeah, no, and I'm short the NASDAQ. I think that a lot of NASDAQ stocks, I don't really want to get into this, like Zoom is going to go lower, Beyond Meat's going to go lower. And this is what I saw today. This is what fucked me up, excuse my language. And that's why I got out of Upstart, because I saw a lot of these things rolling. You know, I saw the NASDAQ starting to top out. I actually bought some puts on the NASDAQ, which is probably not a great bet. The indexes are very sideways. But I think a lot of stocks have topped within the NASDAQ. So anything else you want to talk to about earnings? Otherwise, I'm going to end it there. I think I gave you half a dozen names for tomorrow. So I would go short NEO. So I'm going to put short NEO, CPNG, BMBL. I'll put that, and then I would go long AVT and SONO. So that's what I would do. So if you guys have any questions, let me, if I could ask, if I could just ask you for, and you know, I can ask you tomorrow if you want. If you would be kind enough just to leave a review either today or tomorrow with whatever you want to say, good, bad, or indifferent. You can say you had a bad experience and then say why. If you had a good experience, you can say why. It really helps. You know, some people just try and intentionally put bad reviews on my thing to deflect. It's really a business thing. They do it because they try and take my traffic and deflect it to what they're doing. So if you could just offset it, I would really appreciate it. And did I put the link in there? I don't know if I put the link in there. Thank you, Diane. I appreciate it. And thank you, Kyle Game, Jeff. you please feel free to say anything. I'm not trying to bait you to put a, a great, review, whatever you want to say. Tom says, outstanding. Love the context. Yeah. So, this is, this is better than going to Vegas. I'll tell you that much, where you get an instant result and you can see the impact where you went long at 135, 10 minutes later, it's at 161. I mean, there's like no other game like this in town. It's nobody talks about this. And, this is also peak earnings season where you've got a lot of companies, and then it does slow down, but there's always companies, there's always something. But I thought I did put it in the chat box, but oh, I didn't to everyone. Okay. Thank you for asking. So there's the how much would you have made with US? So upstart options are too expensive, and probably expensive for a reason. So I was in the stock. I put a lot of money in the stock. I don't even want to tell you how much I bet on this stock. And I did this a couple of times where I bought 14,000 shares. I was positioned 3 or 4 times, and 3 or 4 times it came back on me. And then today I just, I just saw OCGN come back. I saw Zoom, Beyond Meat. I just feel like the NASDAQ's gonna get hit here. And then I saw, Upstart crash for the 900th time. And I should have kept an eye on the big picture. I always say, keep an eye on the governing price pattern. And I paid the price for emotionalism. Emotionalism can cost you, on the upside and, and on the downside. And I just, I guess I had too big a position. And that's the problem too. Because you can see if this opened, $25 against me, that's a $300,000 hit the other way. So, it's all well and good to say woulda, shoulda, coulda, but I had to do the other calculation too. How much do I want to risk today? And so I kind of have been more in a risk capital preservation mode, and kind of conserving, just taking small little pot shots and doing quite well. I'm not unhappy, but Linda, you are welcome. Very good trading. Thanks a million. Ollie says, Sergio says, we got it. Mary is, you're welcome. Deccan. So thanks again, guys. I'll see you back tomorrow. We'll take a look at, how, so I'm in WIX, see how that opens tomorrow. And then, we'll get positioned for, so you have the stock. So by the time I see you tomorrow, it'll be after the close. So if you want to do these plays, you have to put them on before the close tomorrow. And usually for earnings plays, I try and wait as close as I can to the end of the day. Although if I see like NEO or Bumble or something going higher, I'll just sell into that higher, opening on the predicate that this thing looks like it's so I'll buy a put into a higher opening, or I'll just sell short the stock into a higher opening. But other than that, I usually try and wait right before the bell and then put the positions on. And that's the amazing thing. You can literally put a position on at 3:58 Eastern time, 4:05, the earnings come out, and 5 minutes later, you can make 350 grand. Where else on this planet, is this even possible? So it's kind of a fun game. So Soren says, you show again and again that trusting the graph's development over time shows the way for a trader. Thanks. So Soren, this is really what I was saying yesterday, that the market is a discounting mechanism. So, I had no way of knowing, what, the earnings were going to be for Upstart, or even how the earnings were going to be interpreted. It was just all this market. So all these guys here were already discounting the direction this was going in. So I don't, have to follow anything or what have you, just follow. Price is ahead of the news. And this is the best indication or validation of that thesis, where you had all of these, bottoming price action, double bottom, inverted head and shoulders, indicating, the whole trend was higher. This thing was sitting on a trend line. I mean, everything, you know, on this stock said that it had to re-challenge these old highs. I've been saying this for weeks. You can see how it's just been hugging this trend line. And, you know, now it's going to go back and, you know, retest these. So I'm glad you see that, Soren, and yes, price is the ultimate, price is the news. Everyone says, do I follow the news? Well, you can see news is coming out, you know, after all of these things. And so how did I know that this little stupid stock, you know, that I bought at 933 was going to be at $10, you know, an hour later? I didn't know. The price was telling me. So thank you for understanding that. Boss says 358 earnings come out and you're in profit by 4:30 p.m. And that's, you know, or 4:05. I mean, some of these earnings are announced. This was announced like 2 minutes after the close. So maybe you didn't get the tickers because I didn't put it in. So let me do that again. So I thought I put it in here, but it I didn't have it clicked for everyone. So here again is the earnings from Yahoo, and so these are two sources that I use. I think that one had a little thing here, so. So those are the earnings sources. So thanks for asking that. I'm still long pound Australian, yes. So if you're looking for commodities, there's, you know, stocks, Devon Energy, all these stocks that, you know, trade off energy, and you can play those earnings calls also. So Pedro says, what do you do on the daily? The governing pattern is short and the weekly it's long. So sometimes you do get into these conflicts with earning plays. You know, I like to be as sure as I can. You can never be that sure. So I kind of try and marry the two, and I ideally want to see something that is in sync. So, you know, where NEO is in sync with the short term and the long term. So if you look at the short term, it's lower. And then if you look at the weekly, you know, you can see it. So here's the weekly on NEO. Here's the weekly on CPNG. So you can see this is, you know, this crapped out, you know, right from the beginning, and it's just been in a downtrend. So this is the weekly, and then, you know, the daily should confirm that. And so to my mind, you're going to see a retest of this $30 area, you know, one way or another. Maybe not tomorrow, but eventually you got to come down here. Bumble also. So these are the weeklies, and then here's are the dailies, and they should basically be in sync. So I can see the down on the weekly. Now I can see the down on the daily. I can see a daily reversal bar. I can start setting up my risk reward. I would, you know, short into any higher opening and use today's high as my risk. So I call these insurance day bars because they tell me exactly where my risk is. All right, guys, I'm going to leave you there. I'll see you back tomorrow. Thanks again. And I'll see you all back tomorrow. Henry, thanks a million. We'll see you tomorrow morning.